So what I mean by okay, sorry, what I mean by the level of IT complexity is this.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by if you look at it, technology is getting so complicated more and more than before. So before now, the most banks don't connect to third parties. They only use maybe core banking applications, and that core banking application is not is just within the banking network. But today, banks connect to different entities like fintechs, like telecommunication provider, like even you can use a different technology. So the technology that we are using is getting much more complicated. And nowadays, so many organizations are adopting cloud infrastructure, you know, and beyond the
Yeah.
cloud infrastructure, the technology even around the cloud is getting so complicated that you can even spin up a server within a seconds
Mm-hmm.
with the right technology. So if we are talking about the technology complexity. So those are the things that are affecting the security. Now that today people are leveraging on artificial intelligence and machine learning. Then one of the stuff that since November last year, ChatGPT has been
Mm-hmm.
in the talk of it. Yes, with ChatGPT, you can easily, if you can easily automate some tasks. For example, with the ChatGPT embedded into Microsoft Teams or any of the collaborative tools that you use, you can use that bot, the chat bot, to schedule the meeting or to record the meeting, and also to do some write-up for you, maybe take note of the meeting. So technology is getting more sophisticated. As technology is getting more sophisticated, the bad guys too, they are also getting more sophisticated in their tactics, in their techniques, and the different procedure that they use. So those are the things that impact security. I hope that's explained your question right. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You broke up for a bit.
Okay. Okay. So do you get okay? So what I was saying is that the level of IT complexity, we are talking about the complexity in technology, the advancement in technology,
Mm-hmm.
the adoption of technology like artificial intelligence,
Yeah. I
blockchain,
heard everything you said. Yeah.
cloud. Yeah. So
As in before now there was no third party, but now people are connecting to different, platforms.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then you also need to look at the network connectivity. Just for you to be able to do your work seamlessly, you need a connection, network connection. So, and how do you connect to your various uh, how to establish your connection? The connection, even the third party that you'll be leveraging on, you need to establish a connection. The connection between the organization to the third party, then the connection within the organization, the connection outside the organization. So those are the kind of things that impact the technology. Then this specialist industry devices and its implementation, like in the manufacturing industry, there's some specialized devices that they use that are not even information technology devices. They are looking at operational technology devices like SCADA, even in Internet of Things and all of that. They're also looking at the platforms. What do I mean by the
Sorry, specialist industry devices and instrumentation. Please, I was trying to jot down what you were saying. I think I missed it.
Okay. So what I mean by specialist industry device instrumentation, no, different industry, they have, yes, they have different technology that they use. Everything is only about information technology. You get what I'm saying? Now that we are having something like in the manufacturing industry, the machines are connected, and they also automate the manufacturing process. They make use of different technology like uh, programmable logic control (PLC). They use do that in a manufacturing company. Then in the oil and gas manufacturing in general, they use SCADA. They use some instrumentation. All those instrumentation to also have one of the stuff that the thing that affect in part is security. So what are the risks of using all those instrumentation? Because all those instrumentation, the level of because people that produce those instrumentation are very few. So there is a level of those instrumentation are not well up to date, are not well patched, and those instrumentation can also be a target for the bad guys. So if we look at what happens when the Iranian when there was a malware attack on the Iranian, I think was it not their their nuclear, uh, where they store their nuclear weapons and all of that. So all those instrumentations, the different industries out there, like in the military, they use nuclear reactors. They use different stuff in the manufacturing. Manufacturing, you make use of SCADA, PLC, but it's some industry to make use of IoT devices, uh, Internet of Things, and Internet of everything. So different industries has their own specialized device, specialized technology that they use for their automation. That's what I mean by the. So those are the kind of thing that also impact on security. Then
Okay.
number 4 talks about the platforms. What do I mean by platforms? So the platform, for example, uh, platform like the operating systems. What is your server running on? Operating system can be Windows, the Windows operating system. What system do you use? Use Mac or Windows?
No, Windows.
So platform can be Mac OS, can be Windows OS. Even Windows for for end user, there is a different operating system for end user and different operating system for the servers. And we had the various version of this operating system. We're going to talk about some of these systems as we move ahead. Then we also need to talk about the applications. You know, I'm happy that you say you've used you've managed a card related based project. So your card schemes is running on a particular applications. Then the core banking applications, the human resources management system, the and also the other tools being used. Then some of the things that also affect the technology factors impacting security, we'll also be talking about the uh, on the whether your servers, whether you want to have an on-premise infrastructure or you want your cloud, your infrastructure to be on the cloud or hybrid system. Like most startups, it's cheaper for them to be on the cloud for, but some big organization like big banks run an hybrid system, and there's a plan. Some organization have been planning to make sure that they migrate all their on-premise infrastructure to the cloud and all of that. But I know that banks, most banks or big organization, we rather use the hybrid system. So those are the kind of a thing, because what we are talking about is that the nature of the organization will determine the kind of control, cybersecurity control that need to be put in place. Then you also need to look at the operational support for security. So does your organization support security by default? Does the organization now? So all those kinds of things you need to look at there. You also need to look at the user, community, and capabilities. Like in your domain, in your community can be like maybe your network, maybe for example, in your organization, if there's the level of the user community, the level of the expertise will also determine how far and how well you can have, you can also determine, can have an impact on the general security of the organization. For example, if you don't belong to any user community, or you don't belong to any maybe if you run to an issue, people that you can run into, maybe professional body or Buddy, association of friends, and all of that, and their capability, because it's not just about the community, the capabilities of those community, are those community useful, and all of that. Those are the kind of thing that you need to look at. But thank God that the world is going global, so with the no matter where you are, you can still have a strong user community and capabilities, like what we are doing now. We are in different part of the world, and we are still collaborating. Then you also need to look at what are the things that also affect the security. Look at the new and emerging tools. So let's look at the business related factors. Beyond all this, what we've just itemized, there are also factors that are related to the business. Number one is the nature of the business. The way you handle security for different organizations will be different. For example, the way you handle security for a fintech or financial organization will be different. The way you handle security for a manufacturing industry also be different from the way you handle security for oil and gas. For the manufacturing company, they are more concerned about the availability of their system. They want to be sure that the system runs 24/7, so that they can produce as much product as possible. But for financial organization, they're not just concerned about the availability, they are also concerned about the integrity of the financial data, or the integrity of the customer, PIR, and also the confidentiality of that. Then beyond that, we're also looking at the risk tolerance and appetite. Yes, you can implement all the control. There might still be some level of risks that the organization, so different organizations have different risk tolerance and appetite. What do I mean by risk tolerance? Risk tolerance is ranges of the risks that an organization can accept, while the appetite is the maximum risk an organization can accept. For example, if an organization, for example, a financial institution, want to implement maybe introduce a digital banking, maybe they want to make sure that they adopt digital banking. We all know the risks associated with this digital banking. The risk is that yes, the malicious guys, which are otherwise known as the hackers, can as well as also exploit any vulnerabilities on that digital platform, and then that can lead to financial loss. So for the fact that this is a risk, does that mean the business will not adopt that? So yes, every business will have their appetite. So maybe in the form of maybe insurance, maybe the bank can decide that, you know what, if you are losing about, let's say, $1 million, and at the end of the day, we are making $1 billion, yes, so $1 million can be the appetite, the maximum amount that the organization can take, which it has the risk appetite. But when I'm talking of tolerance, the limit, is ranges of, for example, the business can also, okay, they can still do it between maybe within $500,000 or 1 million to $1 million. So those are the requirements. Then the business related factor, you also need to, for a very good organization, there must be a security mission, vision, and strategy. As we have the business strategy, vision, and mission, so a cybersecurity must have a mission, vision, and strategy. Those are the things that also affect. Then we also look at the industry alignment and security trends. So for different industries that are trending, like in financial organization, there are some common trends that are happening, especially when it comes to cyber exploitation and all of that. That's something that are trending in the industries. Like it is trending, like in the form of, maybe let's presume that somebody, a malicious person, try to hijack somebody account, or data, the rate at which data is linking, like data theft and all
Data
of
breach.
the data breach. Those are the kind of the thing that is trending. So different organization. So, but in the manufacturing company or oil and gas, what is trending there is not data breach, is denial of service, distributed denial of service, and all of that. So it also depends on the yesterday today can also be exposed to data breach, but the reason why people hack such organization might not be that for data. So, and the government, they cherish data to data breach can be, so industry alignment and security trends. We also determine how you restructure or the architecture of cybersecurity. So we've started the architecture because you need to look at this. Then the compliance requirement and regulations. Banks or financial organizations are heavily regulated by various body, and there are different compliance certifications that banks will always be audited for, like PCI, because banks undo card related transaction, because payment card industries.
Okay, sorry. Take me back. We just finished security missions, vision, and strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to be sure.
Okay. Yeah. So I think we just finished that. Then I also talk about the industrial alignment and security trends. So I told that there are different industry that something that is trending. You get what I'm saying? On different industry that the trend in financial organization might be different. Even in financial organization, it also depend on the tiers of the organization. Like I know that in United States, if you are looking at the big four banks, I know JP Morgan should be number one, right? Then maybe,
Yeah, in America, yes, but not in the world.
no, I know in US,
Yeah.
Citibank should be maybe number two, number three, if I'm right.
Citibank?
Yes,
Is Citibank the next?
it's not the next, right? But it should be among the top
Mm,
top four, right? I'm not so sure anyway.
yes.
So the industrial alignment and security trends. So for different, what I'm trying to say that for the top banks, there might be a common trend. And for the banks that are not there, not maybe they're not among the top 10, the trend or the security trend might be different from
Yeah,
what
Citibank is the second. Yeah.
the second. I know Citibank should be this second and all of that. Then the different industries might have a different trending, right? You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that you look at. Then the next one is we're talking about compliance requirements for based on the different industries, like banks. For a banks to maintain their license, there are different compliance requirements. The financial statement requirement like PCI, the compliance certification like PCI, payment card industry, ISO 27001, SOC 1 and SOC 2 compliance, and even the central bank for every country is also dictate what is happening. Also dependent on the industry. So if it is tech industry, there are different regulation for tech industry. For health sector, there are different regulations. And also they also need to look at the mergers, acquisition, and partnership. So that it's common that for organization to merge, or for a big organization to acquire organization. So as this thing is happening, all these things will be also be impacting on the information security. Let's presume that organizations that have a very good cybersecurity practice that acquires an organization that is not so. So if during the process of merger or acquisition, that the organization that doesn't have a very mature cybersecurity process can also impact on the security posture of the bigger organization. Then I'm talking of partnership too. You also need to be very careful on that. Then the last one is about the outsourcing of service or providers. Because maybe your company might do all they want to do to protect their information asset, but if you are sourcing some of your services or provider, you cannot really have control on ensuring the absolute security on your service provider, unless you come up with like kind of a clause, maybe whenever you are signing an SLA, that if there is any breaches, and the breaches come from them, they'll be liable and all of that. So those are the kind of stuff that affect. So let's look at I think I've mentioned this already, difference between cybersecurity and information security. So I told you that information security focus on protection of information regardless of the format. So whether paper document, whether digital intellectual properties, verbal or visual communication. But when I'm talking of cybersecurity, it focuses on protection of digital assets. So what are the digital assets? Network, hardware, software, information processed and stored in isolated or networked system. So these are the aspect of cybersecurity. So, but information security is wider, and cybersecurity is in scope. Because we'll be dealing with more of technology in cybersecurity. How do you protect your technology? So the technology, which are the digital assets. So let's now take it further. In 2014, President Obama approved the NIST cybersecurity framework, National Institute of Science and Technology, and that framework was formulated to protect the U.S. critical information assets. Based on that framework, the framework has 5 functions. It's categorized with 5 functions, which is being listed here. So the functions of core function of cybersecurity, according to the NIST cybersecurity framework. The first function is identify. So this identify use organizational understanding to minimize risks to systems, asset, data, and capabilities. So what does this mean? You need to identify your asset, you need to come up with risk, and because what you can't see. What you don't have visibility on, you may not be able to protect it. So identification is very key. So the second cyber security function. So throughout the course, I'll be taking a deeper dive on these different functions. So, but it's just like let's say we are warming up. So the protect talks about how do you design safeguard to limit the impact of potential event on critical services and infrastructure. How do you protect your infrastructure? How do you protect your network? How do you protect your data from being breached? What are the things that need to be put in place? What are the technology that need to be put in place? Like technology like data leakages prevention. How do you protect your network from external attack by implementing like a firewall, implementing technology like intrusion prevention system and all of that. So the third functions talk about the detection. Implement activities to identify the occurrence of a cybersecurity event. For example, if there is an issue, if there is an event, how do you detect? So leveraging on uh, technology like identity, technology like uh, IPS intrusion, IDS intrusion detection system, technology like EDR endpoint detection and response system to detect if there is any infiltration of malware, technology like anti-malware, antivirus. So let's presume that, okay, there is an activities there's an event that has been detected. Then the next now take us to the next function, which talk about the response. How do you respond? How do you take appropriate action after learning of a security event? If, for example, you discover some traces of malware, maybe ransomware, maybe your part of your file have been encrypted, or you don't want access to your system again, how do you respond in case if the organization is about to be breached? If an hacker is trying to launch an attack on the organization, how do you respond? This is what the response function talk about. And the last function, according to Nix, is about the recover. So let's presume that, okay, there's a breach. Maybe there's a ransomware attack. How do you recover from that ransomware attack? How do you recover from attack? Maybe there's a data breach, and maybe let's say millions of data have been leaked out. How do you recover your data back, and how do you ensure that such incident doesn't happen? So plan for resilience and the timely repair of compromised capabilities and services. So those are the things that we'll be talking about as we proceed in the course.
Sure.
Okay, you want to ask the question, right?
No, it's just that I'm kind of tired.
Okay, okay,
I was
okay.
up, I was out and about, so I'm kind of sleepy. But
Okay,
I'm following.
okay, maybe
No
we can
problem.
just maybe keep.
Yeah, because I will go through the video, so I will have my questions then. But what you talked about, the resilience, the identify, protect, detect, I think I followed up with that.
Okay, 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 okay,
Yep. Yeah, respond, recover. Yeah, I followed up with it.
okay, no problem.
Yep.
All right. So don't worry. Maybe today, because being the first class, we can
Yeah.
maybe
Mm-hmm.
maybe just make it 2 hours, right? Maybe in the next 20 minutes, 40 minutes can be running up, right?
Okay.
So that
Alrighty.
won't be too much.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
it's a very, because it's a introductory class and a lot of
Y-
plan to cover, right? So let's
Yes,
look
I
at
know.
what are the objectives of cybersecurity? We are going deeper a little bit. What are the objectives? So the three core objectives of cybersecurity to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information assets. So we call it the CIA of cybersecurity: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. I will explain the three key objectives. So what do we mean by confidentiality? So confidentiality has to do with the protection of information from unauthorized disclosure, while integrity has to do with the accuracy and completeness of your information in accordance with the business values and expectation. Availability has to do with the ability to access information and resources required by the business process. I will take my time to explain this. So the confidentiality has to do with the protection of information from unauthorized disclosure, but because of your strong background in banking, I will use that to explain this. So how do you protect your information from unauthorized disclosure? So that banks in a financial environment there's some information that are very secretive that are not supposed to be known by third party. For example, your financial statement, customer financial statement are supposed to be confidential to customer alone. So as an information security professional working in a financial organization, you need to ensure the confidentiality of your customer data to make sure that the informations about their bank statement are only known to them. Information about their PII, personal information, because before you register to any bank, there's some very personal information that will be captured. You must make sure that those information are being protected from unauthorized entity. So what do you mean by integrity? The accuracy and completeness of information in accordance with the business value and expectation. For example, if I have, let's say, I have $1 billion in my account, anytime I want to check my account, I want to be sure that I have that $1 billion. That $1 billion has not been tampered with. I'm just using the financial term to explain this. The integrity of the data on your databases might be both your structured data, integrity of your data, and how you sure that the customer data has not been tampered with. For example, if I log on to my digital banking, I realize that I have a less balance, I can take it up upon the banks. So the key functions, the key objective, the number two objective is to ensure that the accuracy and
Okay, sorry, that brings up a question.
Okay.
I think I'm enjoying the class, even though I was feeling sleepy, but what you just said, so what about these breaches that, people from diaspora will leave monies, even people in Nigeria will leave monies in banks, and when they go to their banks to get their funds are gone. So where's the integrity?
So that's an issue. That means that the banks are not living based on the objectives on information security, because for such customers, the customers can take it up upon the banks, and such case like this is an integrity issue, or even beyond
Okay.
that. Maybe you want to, because you want to the time that the account has been compromised, so that
Yes.
bank is not doing what it's supposed to do to protect.
Okay. Can I go for and ask this question? You work with Unity Bank.
Yes.
Has this issue occurred there before?
Yeah, so yes, before I joined the bank, there been some integrity issue. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I joined the bank to make sure that the
You
information
address it.
to
Okay.
address some of this issue, right? Because
Because I
constantly,
bank with GTB and I see a lot of, like social media, sorry, like social media, complaints, people videoing them, being in the bank, somebody's fainting, they want to kill themselves because their account has been siphoned. So how does, because most times they don't even get their monies back. So how does the bank now deal with that integrity issue?
yeah, for the integrity issue, like what the way Nigerian banks deal with the integrity issue is just to ensure that first and foremost, some they will need to do the investigation because I've seen the cases that whereby customer will claim that something the money has missed and all of that. Then whenever you investigate, you realize that
Yeah.
the customer that actually
Okay.
withdraw the money.
Okay, so this is interesting. This is where I want to come. I like this kind of situations whereby I get to, make it conversational.
Yeah.
And the question I want to ask is, yes, in America, right? And I'm sure it happens all over. When there's an integrity issue, the bank would definitely reimburse you before now going to do their investigation.
Okay.
Now, if they do their investigation and see that you lied or they see that maybe the fault was from your part, then they will throw your account into debit.
Yeah. What if the fund has been utilized and you decide not to bank with the
Okay, great question. And because that's why Nigerian does not have a database.
yeah.
Not like here that
Yeah.
you have a social security number,
Exactly.
right? And that thing will definitely hurt your credit
Okay, yeah, sure.
because if you don't pay back, the banks will send to collections, and collection will definitely put that on your credit, and that will definitely affect you,
Affect you, right?
also your integrity. So
Yeah, sure. So
nice one.
yeah. So
This,
that's the issue that we have in
okay.
Nigeria because we don't have a national database like that. Somebody can it's easy for somebody to change their identity and all of that. I think the bank is coming up with some stuff to make sure that we have a national database that nobody can you can't claim another identity and whether you go I'm saying. So those are the some of these challenges that we are facing here. So, but to address the integrity, and that's when the CBN comes in. For most of the time, if customer like that case of that people in diaspora that complain that stuff, most of the time before the thing gets up and just like you said, bank will ensure that they get the customer money because